Hi, fourth graders. Miss John here to discuss today's lesson. Today's Friday, September 25th, and today we're going to be talking about poem fluency and comprehension. So first, let's talk about what fluency is. Fluency is the speed at which you read, the accuracy you have as you're reading, which means how many mistakes you do or don't make, and your expression. An expression kind of means the tone or inflection in your voice as you read. Okay. If I was reading a book to you, this is Love That Dog. This is page 28, January 31st. This is reading with not good expression. My voice is just going to kind of sound flat. Okay. Yes, you can type up what I wrote about my yellow dog, but leave off the part about the other dogs getting killed dead because that's too sad. Instead, I would read it like, yes, you can type up what I wrote about my yellow dog, but leave off the part about the other dogs getting killed dead because that's too sad. The difference in my expression is pretty significant there. So as you read, I want you to remember that. And what's comprehension? Comprehension is the process of which you read and the way you determine its meaning, what your reading means, and seeing that you understand it. So you should be able to retell what happened and discuss or talk about it with someone as you read or after you read. So we're going to read a poem together, and I want you to think about the difference in your reading think about the reading fluency as I read this to you. And then we're going to talk about what it means. Okay, so I'm going to read this poem to you now. It's called Wind on the Hill. No one can tell me, nobody knows where the wind comes from, where the wind goes. It's flying from somewhere as fast as it can. I couldn't keep up with it, not if I ran. But if I stopped holding the string of my kite, it would blow with the wind for a day and a night. And then when I found it, wherever it blew, I should know that the wind had been going there too. So then I could tell them where the wind goes, but where the wind comes from, nobody knows. So as I read, I want to point out that I paused at the commas. And I stopped at the periods. And when there was no punctuation at the end of the lines, I read through it. Okay. So this one here, for example, it's flying from somewhere as fast as it can. I couldn't keep up with it, not if I ran. So I paused at those commas, read through the lines, stopped at the periods. That was having good reading fluency. I also read it with a little bit of inflection in my voice. It didn't sound like a robot, but it sounded very smooth, and I enunciated different words. That's having good reading fluency. So what did this poem mean? That would be the comprehension piece. Well, this poem, it meant that even though the person telling the story couldn't really tell which direction or way the wind was coming from or where it came from, they knew where it was going to. Okay, so somebody was obviously enjoying hanging out on top of a hill and flying their kite in the windy weather. So now your job is going to be, as a class, we're going to practice reading some poems fluently. And your teacher will model the poem the first time, and then you are going to practice reading aloud together, and then you're going to do it independently after we read through all 4 of them. This is going to be really important that you practice because even though you may have been doing it with your teacher or another teacher, you for sure are going to be doing this in the coming days, and you're going to need to be comfortable reading aloud because we're going to be doing it for comprehension, understanding, and fluency. Your read aloud itself. So this document here is what you'll see attached, and there are 4 poems. After Many Springs by Langston Hughes. The wind has such a rainy sound. Then we've got an excerpt from Afternoon in February and Trees. And I will quickly read those aloud to you, and you're going to need to remember I'm going to read it once to you, or you're going to read it with your homeroom teacher. And then we're going to read it once together, and then you're going to read it out loud independently. I would encourage you to practice them. After Many Springs. Now in June, when the night is a vast softness filled with blue stars, and broken shafts of moon glitter fall upon the earth, am I too old to see the fairies dance? I cannot find them anymore. Now read it again. Here's another one. The wind has such a rainy sound. The wind has such a rainy sound moaning through the town. The sea has such a windy sound. Will the ships go down? The apples in the orchard tumble from the tree. Oh, will the ships go down in the windy sea? I'll read that one again. Read it out loud. 2 more poems. This is an excerpt from Afternoon in February. The day is ending. The night is descending. The marsh is frozen. The river dead. Through clouds like ashes, the red sun flashes on village windows that glimmer red. Read that one again now. Make sure you read through the lines with no punctuation at the end. Pause at commas. Stop at periods. If there's a question mark like there was in this one, make sure your voice goes up at the end. And then here's the last one, Trees. The oak is called the king of trees. The aspen quivers in the breeze. The poplar grows up straight and tall. The pear tree spreads along the wall. The sycamore gives pleasant shade. The willow droops in watery glade. The fir tree useful timber gives. The beech amid the forest lives. Take a minute and read that one again aloud and think about what it means. All right, after you've practiced reading those poems fluently, you are going to spend some time writing your poems. You're going to need to write those poems because you're going to want to have a library of them for something we're going to work on in the coming days in EL. Well done today, friends.